Hey everybody, this is Loi Jane, animal communicator and energy healer from animals-speak.com, and you're listening to Loi Jane Animal Communication Podcast, the show that promises to open your mind and heart to the amazing world of animal communication, energy healing, and what I like to call interspecies therapy. Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'll be talking about the holy grail of all the differences between psychics, mediums, channelers, animal communicators, empaths, and energy healers. This is going to be a fun and informative podcast. I hope you enjoy the show. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a certified international professional animal communicator and pranic energy healer, but I'm also a channeler, medium, empath, and teacher. I offer remote and in-person animal communication, whether they are alive or in spirit. I also offer pranic energy healing for trauma, injuries, pain, illness, disease, and behavioral and emotional issues for both humans and animals. For the humans, I can also provide spiritual guidance by channeling your angels and guides or innate body, and even do a past life regression. And if you've ever wanted to become an animal communicator, I teach animal communicator training workshops and provide one-on-one mentoring. Check out my website for workshop schedules at animals-speak.com or at mindbodyspiritworkshops.com. I get many clients interested in many things that I offer, including animal communication, energy healing, past lives, and channeling sessions, but they aren't sure how it works or where to even start. So today we are going to explore the differences between psychic, medium, animal communicator, channeler, and energy healer. One common thread that I have found that runs through all of these is our spiritual connection to Source. When you do any of this work correctly, you should just be an empty vessel channeling a higher source. To do this, we must activate our own spiritual chakras or energy centers. In the body, the lower chakras below the solar plexus connect to the material, physical world, and the upper chakras above the solar plexus are connected to the spiritual world. These divine chakras must be open and activated first, and then the psychic centers in the body are the heart, the throat, the third eye, or also called the ajna, the forehead and crown chakras, and also the pineal gland. The pineal gland, which sits right behind the third eye, sort of at the center of the head also, and is also an area connected to Source. That is why Egyptian hieroglyphs depicted a pine cone. Often you would see a pine cone in the Egyptian artifacts and hieroglyphs, and this is because the pine cone represented the pineal gland, which acts as an eye but with psychic vision and abilities. And if you've ever seen the pineal gland, that's what it looks like. It looks like an eye. So once these are activated, many things that we consider that we call psychic gifts will come easily and naturally. This is all natural as part of being a human being. We just don't have these areas activated quite yet, or you could be blocked. So after my spiritual awakening, I was able to slowly tap into all of these modalities so I can do all of these things that we're talking about today, and available for, of course, a variety of sessions for both animals and their humans. So why is it that some seem more gifted than others, and that some people are so focused on the material and physical plane that they operate out of the lower chakras like I was talking about? So if those lower chakras are the ones that are primarily activated and not the other ones, that means we haven't developed the upper spiritual chakras. That means we interact on a daily basis with the world at large from a material, physical perspective. There is not a spiritual perspective because those upper chakras have not yet been activated. You could be somewhere in the middle of all of this. you could be activating these upper chakras slowly, but surely you will. The other thing is we can be blocked from a calcified pineal gland and a calcified third eye, and that is usually from fluoride in the water and the toothpaste, and a lot of other things I would say probably block the third eye and pineal gland. If you listen to podcast number 10 on chakra balancing and healing, there is much more information on unblocking these areas. Now, let's explore all the different types of spiritual guidance that is possible. Let's start with a psychic reading. When you hire someone for a psychic reading, they will use some type of higher divine guidance to read something specific about you or your animal. It may be something about the past, the present, or the future. So psychics, they rely on intuition, and I would say it's subject to interpretation. So whatever the psychic is getting depends on their ability to receive clear guidance without putting their own judgments or getting their own judgments in the way. And so it is always subjective and subject to interpretation. That is why some psychics are better than others. Some psychics will also use mediums like tarot cards, pendulums, crystals, dowsing rods, and many more things to get answers to questions that you may have. Other psychics don't need any mediums. Instead, they rely on their higher abilities. They may be clairvoyant, which means seeing visions, or clairaudient, which is hearing, channeling higher guidance from divine guides, angels, or even a galactic source. And other psychics are clairsentient, and they just have a knowing about something or a feeling about something. The upside to psychic readings are great for getting spiritual guidance and coaching on something specific. The downside is it's still subject to interpretation, and details tend to be more generalized. Sometimes they're specific, but a lot of times they're generalized, and there is no direct communication taking place, as in telepathy or animal communication. It's completely different. Also, the timelines can always change due to free will, so the trajectory might be different if you are making different choices due to free will. So some of the things that are predicted by psychics may or may not come to fruition because you may have gone down a different path in life. What I offer is I have all the clairs. So I'm clairaudient. I'm most clairaudient. I'm clairsentient, clairvoyant, and then my specialty is clairaudience and telepathy. I don't call myself a psychic because I don't use judgments or guesses. I am directly channeling all of the communication I receive with audio. So I don't interpret, I don't put my judgments in there, I don't guess. So I actually hear like full sentences. I can actually hear the personality of the being that I'm talking to, and I also can get images, sounds, smells, feelings, empathetic pain, all of it. Next, let's talk about mediums. A medium is typically a person who can connect with the spirit world. Typically, they are speaking to departed loved ones on the other side. This could be human or animal. It is important to note that animal communicators, like myself, can act as mediums and speak to animals in spirit, but mediums are not necessarily animal communicators, so it doesn't go both ways. I hope this makes sense. Animal communicators can speak to animals that have crossed over, but mediums only deal with the spirit world, so they don't communicate with animals that are still alive. What I offer, I can talk to both animals and humans in spirit from the other side. However, I choose to work more with animals. It's actually quite easy to connect with the other side, even easier than talking to an animal remotely who is in a physical body. Now, the upside of being a medium is that a medium can help you with grief, to feel whole again after losing someone, whether it's human or an animal companion. And the downside is that not all mediums work with animals in spirit. Many times mediums will have a whole host of spirits coming through at once, and they are not sure which clients they're for. It's like the floodgates are open, and this is not the case with animal communicators. We are only talking to one soul at a time. Also, sometimes messages that comes through from the spirit worlds are images or bits and pieces of information, and again, open to interpretation. Now let's talk about animal communicators, also called animal telepathy, horse whispering, animal whispering, all of that. So animal communicators differ from psychics or mediums, and they rely on direct one-on-one communication with your animal using telepathy. Telepathy is being able to communicate in person or at a distance with an animal using thoughts, words, images, or anything to do with the five senses. So instead of going through a guide and receiving the information secondhand or using intuitive guessing, animal communicators like myself are having direct conversation with the animal. This is also dependent on the skill of the animal communicator, on how much detail they're able to get. Some animal communicators get words, some get images, etc. We get different things. I am personally clairaudient, so I hear audio as if I'm talking to a person, and I get the tone of voice just like talking to a human, but I also get images, sounds, smells, feelings, pain, sensation. I am very, very empathic, and we'll talk about that later. People I meet on the street ask me what their animal is thinking. I say, I don't know. I haven't talked to them yet. If I walked around hearing all the animals' voices in my head, I would feel crazy. Talking to an animal telepathically is just like talking to a human. First, you need to greet each other, establish some kind of rapport before having a deeper conversation, or any conversation at all, and then grilling them with questions. Also, you have to tell the animal who you are, so they're not looking around for some disembodied spirit or ghost talking to them. Animals can always hear our thoughts, but choose to tune us out, since most humans don't have a two-way conversation or communication with these animals. So when it comes time to talk to an animal, I treat them just like a human, have a conversation with them, get to know them, and discuss an issue. And I also listen to their concerns and even ask their input on particular situations. Animal communication sessions are invaluable if you have an animal companion or even caretake animals. We can gather specific details of all kinds of behavioral and physical issues. We can help by providing many details to help your veterinarian to use in a healing session. We also talk to animals in spirit to bring you relief from losing your beloved animal, if you're going through pet loss grief, and animal communication even addresses things like animal mirroring, past lives, help with lost animals, a lot of other things. So the upside to animal communication or animal telepathy is that we get great details, very specific, to find out exactly how your animal is feeling and what they need from you to help the situation. The downside is animal communicators differ in skill levels. Some animal communicators don't go deep enough to get to root causes or may not ask the right questions, so may go down a completely different pathway than another animal communicator. What I offer is animal communication, getting to the root causes and the needs of the animal issues, whether they are in a physical body or in spirit. I also teach animal communication or animal telepathy. Next, let's talk about empaths. Empaths are individuals who unconsciously pick up others' emotions, pains, or energies. This is not a conscious choice, but it sort of happens. Many of us are empaths. We agreed to come into this world to help transmute negative energies. I am very empathic, so much so that I can feel the exact pain or sensation of someone else. In fact, a lame horse once dropped me to the ground with this pain And I could feel everything. I mean, everything that the horse could feel. As soon as the person agreed to let me do the healing on the horse, the pain came right out of me. It was like unbelievable. I could not even believe it. And the horse incident was so obvious, but sometimes I'll get random pains out of the blue. And I learned to decipher which is mine and which is not mine. So I also play pickleball, and sometimes on the court, a certain body part of mine will randomly start hurting, something that I didn't have before, or like a pain or area that I don't even have hurting. And I ask the other players around me, I'm like, who has this specific pain or injury? And always somebody will raise their hand going, oh, that's mine. And as soon as I know it's mine, I can do something about it. So it's always someone on my court who has the injury or close by me. So now I know that sensations, feelings, and pains that come out of nowhere are not mine. And if you can make this distinction, that's the hardest part. Just making the distinction that it's not yours. Once you can do that, you can get rid of it immediately. It's really easy. So all you got to do is just say 3 times, not mine, not mine, not mine, out, out, out. Not mine, not mine, not mine, out, out, out. Not mine, not mine, not mine, out, out, out. That's it. And it'll come right out of you, unless it was yours. If it was yours, it will not come right out. That's how you know. So you can get rid of that. So the upside of being an empath is that you're doing amazing work transmuting others' negative energies. And the downside's a big one, because the empaths can feel sick or bogged down and really heavy and dark energies all the time because they're transmuting other dark energies and other people's dirty energies. And so unless they know how to release it, like I just taught you, or you can take a lavender and salt bath also every night, or lavender and salt scrub. So that will help you release your empathic nature. Next, let's talk about channeling. Channeling is just what it sounds like. You become a channel or a conduit for divine guidance to come through. The guidance given is not coming from the person. It is coming through the person. You can channel divine sources from angelic or galactic realms, and you can channel someone's guides, higher soul, and even their innate body and their angelic team. I channel angels, guides, higher soul, and the innate body in client sessions, but I've also talked to many archangels and even galactics. When I do angelic, guide, higher soul channeling sessions, I am answering any questions you may have and providing any spiritual guidance that may need to help to get on your path and any other aspect in your life. I can also talk to others' innate body to get exact details of a health problem or a pain or injury in a certain part of the body, and even things that are related to emotional imbalances. So channelers can open and close this gateway at will and must make sure that they are cleansed so they are a clear channel and not channeling something that they're not completely 100% clear. And that way the transmissions they are receiving are from love and light sources only. I tell everyone, if it feels like love and light, it is. If it feels dark and heavy, it is. So only accept transmissions from love and light sources. You must be careful to do this. If you start channeling something, ask if they are from the love and light. And if they answer yes, then you're good. And also, if you feel love and light energy, you're good. You will feel darkness, then it's not good. There are tricksters regarding channeling sources. The upside to channeling is so helpful to many souls who need spiritual guidance. The downside is not all channels are clear or channeling benevolent entities. Before hiring a channel, make sure they are working with love and light sources. And also, I teach classes on channeling your guides and angels or innate body if you'd ever like to learn. Now let's talk about energy healers. There are many different energy healing modalities. Most people are familiar with Reiki, a healing modality originating in Japan, But there's also shamanic practices and Chinese healing practices such as Tai Chi and Qigong. I practice what is called external medical Qigong, also known as Pranic Healing, originating from Chinese and East Indian healing. Pranic healing is much more ancient and esoteric, which means hidden, teachings than Reiki. Reiki is a great general healing modality where the practitioner energizes with white light and sends loving energy to help heal the body. But it is limited and does not address cleansing the body to remove blockages. If you push energy into a blocked or congested area of the body, you do more harm than good. Pranic healing practitioners, such as myself, spend a lot of time cleansing, lots and lots of time cleansing chakras, auras, and the organs to remove dirty energies, used up energies, blockages, or a lot of other things before ever energizing. So we use a multitude of colors with specific healing frequencies or healing properties. It is also very specific for specific illnesses, injuries, and diseases. In fact, in the Philippines, when you go to a doctor, you will see a doctor and a pranic healing as part of your treatment plan. In fact, one of our healing masters is a medical doctor. So many clients contact me regarding healing their sick animals, but don't know the exact issues. If you can afford to do so, I highly recommend doing a combination session of animal communication and pranic healing. In the animal communication session, I can find out the exact details of what and how the animal is feeling, including the location of the pain or discomfort, the sensation, the pain level, acute versus chronic, the cause, and what they need to feel better, etc., etc. I can also address animal mirroring if it is not their issue. I can also find out if there is animal mirroring going on, so we are treating the right one. To learn more about animal mirroring, listen to episode 5 on animal mirroring. And then I can provide you details to share with your veterinarian if you choose to help them with their diagnosis. I can gather a lot of details also to do a pranic healing session to pinpoint exactly what I need to work on so it's more targeted and effective than other healing modalities. Pranic healing also heals emotional conditions like anxiety, depression, PTSD, separation anxiety, etc. Of course, there are many, many more healing modalities. For more, listen to this episode 10 on chakra balancing and energy healing. The upside of pranic healing is that sometimes it is miraculous. I have seen many miracles, including saving somebody's life who had OD'd, and a cat that got run over by a car, watching their body transform back into alive. So I've seen absolute freaking miracles in pranic healing. And sometimes I can see a complete and total healing in one session, including a change in labs, blood work, and tests from the vet. Not always, of course. That is sometimes. The downside is if it's something chronic that took 10 years to develop, like cancer or something more chronic, it will most likely require more than one session. And if the animal is mirroring you or someone in the household, no amount of healing will work on the animal because it is a human who needs the healing. And I can help with that too. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you learned a lot on this amazing show on all the differences between all the spiritual and healing modalities, as much as I love doing it. Be sure to subscribe for more amazing episodes. Book your animal communication session now, or check out my upcoming workshops and classes. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, as well as opening your mind, heart, and spirit to your deep connection with your beloved animals. For more information, please visit my website at animals-speak.com or mindbodyspiritworkshops.com or Loi Jane animalcommunication.com. And please subscribe to my monthly newsletter for invites and classes and workshops and specials, events, and the latest podcast. Join us next week for episode 29, which is an interview with Psychic for You online magazine. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe, like, and rate us. And as always, love and gratitude for listening to the Loi Jane Animal Communication and Healing Podcast. This is Loi Jane. This podcast was created, produced, recorded, researched, and edited by Loi Jane, and this is a product of Loi Jane Animal Communication and Healing.